At 14 years of age, when I first started playing basketball, I'd never played before in my life. I had braces on my legs. I was fearful. I had no confidence. I was out of shape. And this tiny little short white man who lived in Beverly Hills had a brand new BMW. He said to me, "Listen, son, you got potential." I talked myself out of joining the team until he said this: "I will give you a ride home from practice every night and drive you into South Central Los Angeles. I will put my life on the line because I can see something in you that you can't see yourself." And he would drive me home every night at 9 o'clock at night, and I'd catch the bus in the morning to go back to school. And the more I did that, the more I realized that he had met me a place when I didn't feel good about myself, but he coached me up to a point where I felt so confident that now I began to see there's some improvement. I got to a place where I said, "You know what, coach? Don't worry about it. I'm cool. You don't have to give me a ride. I got this." So when we took
So he met you where you were.
he met me where I was. He met me at a place where he could see the potential. And I'm sure, the HR managers and CEO, they see that they've got the potential. But if they could just put themselves in a position where they can meet their staff and their team on the level where they're operating mentally and help them to raise that championship mindset level, then that's like contagious.
What you said there is also really important from a perspective of, is not from a leadership perspective or management perspective, it's just looking at the level of performance, but it's going deeper than that, especially today, again, the whole mental health, COVID, stress, and so on and so forth. What's actually happening behind the scenes is actually driving that behavior and in turn results.
Totally.
The other thing you've got to be thinking about from a leadership perspective in order to meet somebody where they are is that, again, the old adage of stop, observe, right, and then act after that, rather than just acting on what you see.
Oh, yeah.
Stop, observe, deduce, then act first.
Yeah. I sold cars in Victoria for 3 years.
Again, not in the bio, but anyway, carry on.
I sold cars, and I didn't know anything about cars. Like, seriously, I did not know anything about cars. But the thing that I could do was I could communicate with people coming on the lot. I would identify with them and talk to them and communicate with them on a level that they knew that it wasn't about the car that I was selling. I was selling the benefit of something that they needed, but I was meeting them in a way that they realized that I actually cared about them getting what they needed to make their lives more complete. So I was a very good salesman. Technically, I didn't know a lot. And I find that a lot of companies now maybe spend too much time trying to find the perfect salesperson who knows it all and who does it all. But when you look at your team, you need to have people in the team who have character, who have good communication skills, who are compassionate and are consistently working on themselves, and who are willing to not put I first. See, there's no I in team.
It's 4 C's though, and what you just said there.
That's
Love
right.
it.
Yeah, that's right. So when we look at the whole coaching, the coaching angle, it's all about cultivating a culture in your organization where your team are all working on the same page, but that same page is about elevating each other and not just that one individual.
There's another idea for your next book.
Yes.
5 C's in leadership. I think you mentioned 6 there all up actually, so we'll talk about that after.
Well, I've actually started working on that, and I've got something I'm going to give you.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah. So going back to talking about effective leadership, one of the things that's also become very, very challenging during the whole COVID period is finding and retaining top talent.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that we've spoken about in the past is your belief that leaders in business should see themselves as coaches of teams. Can you elaborate a bit more on that?
Every team that I was in, I played in many professional and amateur and high school basketball teams. The teams that were really, 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 really successful did not have a team full of the best talent. We had a team of 3 or 4 high caliber, efficient talent, but everybody else, they played their part. They were willing to do the little thing. They're willing to do the dirty things. So if you look at the NBA championship that just went by now, the Milwaukee Bucks won that championship. Small market team. They only had one superstar. The other teams in the NBA who had 3 superstars, I'm talking about guys who were making, 40, 50 million a year.
Wow.
This team only had one superstar. Everybody else was good, but they played as a unit. They didn't care who got the accolades. What they cared about was everybody do their job. So when you start to recruit, when you're looking at the people you're bringing in, ask them some pointed questions, about how hard are you willing to work? Or would you be the first one here and the last one to go? Like, do I always have to pat you on the back? Like, do you always have to see your name in lights? Will you step on somebody to get where you want to go? And when you start filtering and getting a group of players around you like that, as a coach, it makes it very, very easy to then monitor and then manage your organization.
I like what you said there. So one of the other things that I took out of the conversation that we had last time when we talked about the same topic was what we call at Barclay, which is a recruitment company that's also part of the Verity Group. We talk about strategic resource planning.
Yeah.
So it's kind of getting towards the end of the season, looking at next season and looking at all the players that are available, how they performed in that previous season to go, okay, well, who am I going to trade and who am I going to buy for the following season, so on and so forth. So I thought that's a really good way of looking at it, especially through a seasonal perspective as well, as a leader thinking about a coach. And then the other one, and as you just said there, you can't have it's very rare that you have a full team of highly capable performing individuals. And often if you do, you can create inner conflict as well, because everyone wants to keep a space.
Everybody wants the ball. Everybody wants the ball. And if everybody wants the ball, then that means everybody's not willing to do the stuff to get you the ball.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So then it comes down to effective leadership,
Correct.
right? It is, again, meeting the rest of the players, meeting everyone, but in particular the other players where they are, and then bringing them back.
Coach, you want to coach up, right? But the good leadership and all that comes basically from the top. It's filtering your own characteristics. It's filtering your own ability to lead and to manage. It's filtering your own ability to look at your team and show the kind of example that's required so that they can see, right, this is how we want our organization to be.
Love it. So if we can change gears slightly, keeping with the same analogy, what if we as leaders look at ourselves as the athlete? Because, again, as we said before, the tagline to your book is living your own personal best. So if we change things and look at ourselves as the athlete to deliver our own personal best, both for ourselves, for our families, and also for our teams that we have, what are some advice points you got on that?
That's so easy. I'm glad you asked that question. So what's happening in the Olympics right now? Those athletes train 5, 10, 15, maybe 20 years to get the opportunity to represent their country, go to the Olympics, and win a gold. And they did all of that. They get over there, and what happens? There are no fans. There's no audience. There's no noise. There's no one supporting them. So right now, they have to draw from within that, okay, I put all the work. It doesn't matter if there's anyone here. Now I have to bring my A game. So there's 3 things that they're going to have to do every single event. Same thing that we have to do in business. Number 1, you have to show up for success. Get out of your bed and expect something good to happen. Expect that you're going to get good results. Expect that that great client is walking in the door. Expect that that phone call that you get is not going to be rejection. It's going to be a sale. Expect that somebody in your office, you're going to be able to walk over to them, look them in the eye, and say something positive and effective, and it's going to brighten their day. That's the first thing you have to do.
I love what you said there's a mental creation, right?
It is. It's all
Stephen
mental.
Covey talks about mental creation before physical creation.
Right.
So mentally already sort of get up, number 1. I love what you said.
Yeah.
Secondly, live in that space mentally before you live in it physically.
That's right. Number 2, you have to increase your appetite for learning. Increase your appetite for personal development. Increase your appetite for working on your mental capacity. Increase your appetite for working on your relationships. Increase your appetite for what you can do to the community. Because the more that you can learn, right, the more that you will earn. So therefore, it's important that you're always working on yourself. And the third one, we all have to do it, is stop sleeping with the enemy.
That's a movie, isn't it?
It might be a movie, but I've
What do you mean by that?
Okay, so every night when you go to bed, there are 2 of us that you're lying down with. You're lying down with positive you,
Right.
and you're lying down with negative you. If you go to bed being negative you, worried about corona, lockdowns, restrictions, worried about what happened at work, worried about all the negative stuff, all of that filters into your subconscious. When you go to sleep and you get into dream mode, your conscious mind stops. You can't control it. Your subconscious now conjures up everything that you were thinking about for 3 or 4 hours before you went to sleep. You wonder why you don't sleep at night? Because you're nervous, you're worried, you're in agony, you're in pain. You start the next day. Who do you start with? You don't start with positive you start with negative you. And when you start with negative you, when you go to work, what are you expecting? Negative things to happen. What do you get? Negative stuff.
Well said. I love that. And the thing is, you can influence the thoughts that you have before you go to sleep. You can't influence the dreams. It's too late because it's your subconscious.
That's right.
Which makes it so much harder to do what you said at the start, which is to get up the next morning and to live in that positive mental space before you then even get into the real world after that.
Right. Visualization. So last night I had a late gig on the Sunshine Coast. I got home around 12. I'm in bed and I'm thinking, I'm really, really, really tired. I don't want to get up in the morning. But then I thought about something. Today, I have a chance to do something to change the lives of other people. So it's not about me. So I actually got excited. So therefore, I changed my mindset. I was able to go to sleep visualizing me with my audience today, visualizing the way they were going to feel when I was speaking, visualizing how they're going to walk away and they were going to be taking some things that they could go back to the office and implement in their office that very day.
Love it. And here we are today.
And here we are today.
Well done, mate.
I'm ready to go. I'm ready. I'm fired up, man. Where the people at? Where the people at? Where the people at?
Fantastic. I love it. Hey, one last thing I want to talk to you about before we wrap up. We spoke about mental health a few times. So COVID's done great things for some businesses. I'm thinking there's some hand sanitizing producers out there who are absolutely coining it. But it's been very traumatic for a lot of companies out there and individuals in particular. And the one common theme throughout that journey has been, again, that space between our ears, right? Can you leave us with some final tips, habits, techniques, I guess we can all implement on a day-to-day basis to help us with that mental space and to maintain a positive outlook on things?
Okay. The number one thing that we all must do is develop a good mental routine. That mental routine will consist of what you do the first thing that you wake up in the morning.
Right.
It's listen to a really good positive podcast, meditate, go for a walk. I know in some places you got a 5-kilometer radius, but you can still walk around that. So you want to get yourself into a right frame of mind that you're breathing and have some affirmations and really start thinking about, okay, gratitude's important. Be grateful that, yes, your situation might not be the best, but there are other people out there whose situation is much, much worse.
Perspective almost, right?
Perspective. So therefore, hopefully that will give you a sense of, okay, all right, I'm here. And then the second thing that you must do is you must have some sort of a plan that's going to allow you to do some things that when the lockdown is over, when it's finished, restrictions are lifted, that this plan that you put in place, it's going to springboard you forward without you having to then all of a sudden think about what you're going to do. So you still need to be able to be doing some things that's going to bring you to a better place. And the third thing is very tough, more so for men. That is, make sure that you can talk to someone who that you can get your feelings and emotions out and don't harbor those inside. The suicide rate, self-harm is at an all-time rate, even in schools. I went to a school and spoke to some students a couple of weeks ago, and they were telling me about a student that just committed suicide, 16 years of age.
Wow.
And I'm thinking, okay, maybe if we talked more and got our feelings out to a qualified person or somebody who you can trust, at least that way you're getting how you're feeling out, which allows you to de-stress yourself. Those are just 3 things that I would say off the top of my head, which I have done in my situation in 2020, that has allowed me to breathe easier, to feel better about myself and to go about.
Fantastic. I love everything you said. Luke, thank you so much for spending the time with us today.
Thank you.
I'm not going to change that. Thank you so much for investing the time with us today. It's much appreciated. So if anybody wants to reach out to you personally, have some further conversations with you, is there a way for people to do that?
Yeah, very easy. So you can hit me up on my website, ericbaileyglobal.com. You can email me, eric@ericbaileyglobal.com. I'm on Facebook. You can buy my book online. All my details are in there. So I'm very visible on social media, so you can find me.
Fantastic. We're going to have the links to everything that you just said there at the bottom of this clip as well.
Yep.
So if anybody missed that watching this, they can actually grab it from there also.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that we all tend to forget sometimes is that world-class athletes are also just human beings. And when I reached out to Eric, I actually looked on his website, saw a phone number, and I called him. You know what? He actually answered. And we had a great conversation, and here we are today. So please, 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 if you are looking to increase your performance, take the next step in your career or in life for that matter, or if you find yourself in any position of potential mental harm or self-harm, please, whether it's reaching out to Eric or reaching out to one of the many helplines that are out there, which again we'll have at the bottom of this clip, to look out for that, please make sure you reach out because you are not alone. Eric, thank you very much. What have I got here?
You got the C's on the back.
Ah, fantastic.
You got other side. You've got the C's.
Confidence, compassion, consistency, character, courageous. I thought we were going to do a book here. What are you?
We are.
Okay.
I'm just preempting it, man. I'm just preempting it.
Fantastic. And this is available on your website as well?
It will be,
more
yes.
information. It's coming out?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you again for mentioning the book. I noticed there's a card there as well you've got next to you with the reframing of the SMART goals.
Yes.
So again, we'll have all this information available for anybody who's interested, along with the link to your current book. So again, congratulations on your success. Congratulations on your journey.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the time again today. Until the next time, we'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Oh, man.
Thanks, Australia, the world.